Hi, Aries. Always have to give you the signature wink. Welcome to Aries season and April and this powerful catalytic electrical storm energy that we are riding through here together. What a time to be navigating and activating our internal support and guidance systems. We are being asked to step into such a deeper level of commitment to our practices, to ourselves, and to our thinking, and to the stories we tell, and to choosing really deliberately to feed those stories that feed our souls. And this is not just about being in denial or, living on a little cloud and pretending things aren't happening. It's to choose to look at the world. You can take in the information you need to take in and be wise and be smart about what you do. And then also to frame it in a way that is nourishing to your soul and to activate and imagine in a way that helps you move forward in the world with dignity, with grace, with love, with compassions for others, and with compassion for yourself. And that's actually really important right now for you, Aries. There's a lot of important energy in Aries. Obviously, the sun is moving through your sign right now. And we also have Chiron working through your sign. And every time we kind of forget about that because it's one of those long transits that's going on for the next 7 years, 6 years. So we aren't always thinking about it consciously, but underneath the surface, there's this thing going on with revamping leadership, finding healing in where we feel we are our weakest, where we feel that we are supposed to suppress, retooling and reimagining what it means to be a warrior, be in this world, understanding how to use those gifts and abilities. And I feel like this solar return for Aries is an important time for that. There's also some interesting things going on here because Venus is moving into Gemini this month, your third house of communication, short-term travel plans, right? The way you use this throat chakra, the way you use your voice in the world. And Venus is going to go into pre-shadow this month, and then May and June, she's doing her 6-week retrograde with a post-shadow after. So the next 4 months are very much focused on healing the energy that has to do with Venus. Tapping into greater wisdom for you is going to have to do with healing the way you speak to yourself. Plain and simple. Also, so much energy. The first part of the month obviously is Aries season, and it's a very fun, activated, imaginative time. I really love this energy, obviously. And we have a full moon in your opposing sign in Libra on the 7th, on the 7th, in your 7th house, that is really lighting up how you connect with others and love others. But then we have all this energy pouring into Taurus, the second part of the month. And whenever we have a whole bunch of energy pouring into our second house, this is what we love, what we value, our money, our assets, but also our self-love. Also the language we use toward ourselves, the way we see and visualize ourselves, the way we value our own selves, right? Just the asset of us and who we are innately is getting lit up right now. Sun, Uranus, Mercury are all moving through your second house later this month. And that means that you're having to make sure that you're speaking to yourself kindly, that you are valuing yourself in a clear way. 9 of Wands, perfect card for Aries, the world-weary warrior, right? Aries, you all are on the front lines. That's often the way that I think about Aries energy. It doesn't have to literally mean, in a conflict zone, but Aries tends to be the one that goes out there first, sees what it's all about, that curious energy, energized, initiating leadership energy. You go and explore before anybody else does. And the shadow side of that, or something that can kind of come up or happen, is that you can feel kind of burnt and fried by being in that frontline position all the time. And that's one of the things with Chiron moving through your sign we're having a look at. What does leadership mean if we don't have to burn and fry ourselves every time? Page of Pentacles. Healing, soothing, kind, reflective energy there. What does it mean if some of that pressure can be taken off, and we can retool some of the thoughts, some of the ways we do things to be more sustainable for your system, you as an individual, right? So the message that came up as I kind of felt through all that going on, not to mention that Saturn is moving through your 11th house of your friendships and your community and retooling that and having you look at where you're expending energy when it comes to the larger picture around you. Ace of Wands. Choosing your road and committing to it is important right now. Three of Pentacles, loving this, loving what I'm seeing here for Aries. Choosing your road and really committing to it is huge this month. And it doesn't have to be a fully fledged vision. I think that's a misunderstanding that sometimes we say, well, I would commit to my next path, or I would commit to my next iteration of myself, but I don't even know what it is, so I guess I'm just going to have to wait here and see. You don't have to have the whole thing. What I'm talking about here is committing to how you speak to yourself, committing how you tell your stories, committing to how you show up, and honoring when you need to take a step back and set a boundary, or when you need to open up a little bit more, right? These are the things that I want you to be noticing and paying attention to and following with consistency this month. Right. Three of Cups. We've got a lot of threes here, a lot of communing, a lot of checking in. Now, the message that comes through with me for that is it's going to be tempting this month to look to other people for guidance, to look to others to give you the green light or the go-ahead. Five of Wands. Yeah, and you're going to want people to give you like the assurance that yes, you're allowed to do that. Now, Ace of Swords. Ooh. I'm sure you're going to have support there. There are going to be people who say, yeah, you're allowed to go, be that, do that, feel that, explore that. Please do it. Six of Swords. Okay. But it won't matter if you haven't given yourself that permission yet. It won't matter. You can ask people for like the next decade if it's okay for you to shift the way you do things, to be who you want to be, or to do things a little differently. And if you haven't given yourself that permission, not much is going to change, right? The other thing too is if you're always asking outside of yourself what's okay for you to do, at some level you're muting what's really true for you, right? You're muting who you truly are on the inside in favor of who you are as that bold, big, fiery Aries that's always out there getting things done, and who you think you need to be for other people in order to fill that role. So that's really getting challenged here. And this is an important month for that. It's overwhelming to be in such a changing, dynamic world right now. Change is rapid. And it's malleable, which means that we are able to shift our perspectives really quickly. So yes, we start with Nine of Wands. And I do have nicknamed this card the World Weary Warrior. This guy has seen a lot and is a little wary of the world. A little bit uncertain if he's allowed to move on from past conflict, from past pain, from who he's had to be. It kind of feels like he still has to look out and keep guard. But here's the thing, this is kind of an illusion and a nightmare. It's something we do to ourselves. We hold ourselves to this standard. We hold ourselves to this story. And that's the only person that's doing it. And when I look at your next cards, these next three especially, Page of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, Three of Pentacles, these are supportive energies. They're supportive of you moving forward and opening up and opening out and going for something, right? This is all about new beginnings, new opportunities, new doorways, new lenses. Now, that's important. I think, we do use our imaginations on a daily basis. We all do, for better or worse. We all have different ways, right? And we've all come up with the plot lines of how we want things to work out. And we've decided this is how I want things to work out. And often the way that our blessings come in, the way that our doors open up, happen in a way we don't quite expect. We haven't written fully. We never really pictured it that way. And this is what I see with these. Opportunities and doorways and places for you to move forward in life come in packages that are unforeseen. Unforeseen, unwritten, unfamiliar, and new. It's different than maybe you were plotting your life to be. This solar return and this coming new year, this new Western astrological year. It may be very different. It may have a very qualitative texture and flavor to it. It may have a very different story and plot line. But once again, that makes sense. If you're leaving behind this version of yourself, this Nine of Wands version of yourself that feels that it has to do things one way and think of things one way, what's going to happen when you release some of that? New answers and insights are going to come in. New ways of doing things are going to come in and clarify and open. And with that idea of healing, this idea that you have to always be self-sacrificing and that you always have to be burning yourself, walking across a bridge, or being a specific version of yourself. You may think you have to be a specific version of yourself in order to be in this world. Question that every time. Now, there's some social dynamics going on here. 3 of Cups, 5 of Wands, right? I think about these two as very different things. As many of you know, I'm not a fan of reading cards as drama. I don't find that useful or interesting. So what I see here, 3 of Cups is all about flow, enjoyment, celebration, happiness, something to celebrate, something to enjoy. 3 is a number of creative flow and kindness and warmth and celebration. 5 of Wands, on the other hand, is where we hit up against something that's not working, where we have a scuffle, we have a fight, we have a disagreement because something isn't clicking, something isn't right, something needs to be broken through, changed. And these are 2 qualitative states that are important to pay attention to, because you'll notice when something's working, it flows, it's easy, it's fun, it's light. And when something is heavy, you will notice. It's kind of like, you have that one person in your life and, they're a lovely person, nothing wrong with them, but, they're kind of a stressful person. So you may have not talked to them for a couple of weeks because you're all busy and doing stuff, and then they send you a message and you immediately feel stress and you immediately feel on edge, or like you have to go through a challenge. And the difference between that and when somebody who texts you who is just easy to talk to and who's kind and who's warm and who's loving, that's the quality of difference between those two. And that's a really simple example. So you're being asked to evaluate that. And that's not just external. Once again, we're not trying to put this on other people and what they're doing wrong. This is also how you speak to yourself, how you put your pressure on yourself to be at things or do things that you don't really want to do. It has everything to do with that. And the thing that's happening here, this is a month of great clarity when it comes to what really matters. Not what we think we're supposed to do, not who we think we're supposed to be, not who we were supposed to be this year, not what the timeline was supposed to be, but who we really are now and who we really want to be next and what really matters. Ace of Swords, 6 of Swords. Now that is some cutting clarity. This is the kind of energy that comes in when we know something is true and we know we have to make a shift. We know that doing things in the same fashion forever and ever isn't going to work, and that we are being asked to grow into a new shape, a new version of self, and to explore what that means. You've gotten a couple of aces this month, right? Ace of Wands, Ace of Swords, amazing aces, right? These are aces that are open doors. They bring in energy, right? They electrify and they set on fire, which I think that works for Aries energy, to be electrified and set on fire, right? You guys are naturally, innately creative, bountiful, joyful, exploratory, curious beings. It's one of the things I love about you. You're always able to get in there and do the next thing and open the next door and open your heart and be in there. And I love that about you. And that is something I don't want you to give up or have to put to the side. I just want anything you do, anything that you put your energy on, to make sure you're not just forcing yourself at this time, to kind of look at where there's a natural evolution happening and it's coming up from out of you. And you may be finding this month that as it goes along, and as we move through the next several weeks, that knowing and that voice gets louder and louder in your body until you can't hide it, and you have to be honest and move through the world with that integrity that I know you have so clearly inside of yourself. There are new opportunities, there are new doors, there are new ways of doing things. You have a lot of creative flow, you have people that are willing to help you. And that's the other side of it. If you need to ask for help, if you need to ask for guidance, if you need to ask for your community to come help you, one of the things that's getting retooled with Aries energy just in general is this idea that you have to be this self-sufficient individual. And if you're not, then something is wrong with you. This is a time for you all to be okay with opening your heart to community, with opening your heart to those that can help you, and to admit when maybe you need a little insight from outside, or when you need a little bit of help. Now, I know I'm kind of contradicting what I said earlier when I said, if you're always looking outside for permission to be who you are, you'll never get the permission, because the permission needs to come from within. But it's also okay to ask for help from the outside. I'm not trying to say one or other is the best. We need both. We need to give ourselves permission internally, and we need to receive help from others when they can give us safe places to process, when they can give us resources, or when they can give us opportunities, and we need to learn to take them. So both are big assignments for you this month. I have some beautiful affirmations for you all that I would love to share at this time. So these are for Aries, for your birthday month, for Aries season, for April. Really excited to share these with you. I am loved for who I am. I have something beautiful flowering from within me at this time. I trust my inner voice and guidance system to help me take steps in the right direction. I am on the right path for me. Powerful, powerful. There is something shifting here for you. Something really big is shifting. And there is kind of that bittersweet leaving behind, opening up kind of thing, transformation happening. I mean, I think this is an ongoing process in our lives. We're always doing this work, but sometimes it's a little bit more pronounced. And right now you're being welcomed into a new way, a new chapter. And even when that's really exciting, it can be uncomfortable. It can be a little overwhelming. It can be a little bit scary. So it's a multiple part process to feel it all as we open to who we truly are. You can find me on Patreon for a lot more weekly resources and just resources about how to navigate this time, how to navigate the energy flows we have. I do weekly astrology discussions. We have worksheets. We have transit discussions. We're going to be definitely doing a lot of work over on Patreon about Venus and her work as she retrogrades in the next few months, and all sorts of other great tools and assets and resources there. So I'd love for you to join me. Great way, all inclusive, one tier, you're in, you've got it all. It's a great way to feel a little bit more support and peace during the week. I would also love to work with you one-on-one. I'm going to have a few sessions left late April as well as into May. I'm going to be opening up some new sessions very soon. So if you want to book a one-on-one session with me and do that one-on-one quiet integrative work, I would love to see you over there. You can find that link below as well. And you can find me on Instagram for little bits of inspiration and insight. I'm also wearing PinkLune's gorgeous jewelry as always, and you can find her Etsy shop in the link below as well. And I'm sending you all so much love during this time. Take such good care of yourselves, and I will talk to you very soon for the next moon magic.